Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thursday. Trying to get me mad. I'm never mad. I just like, it's just the Italian in me sometimes comes out. Oh, how you doing? It's New York. Don't worry, I'm never actually mad. I don't get mad about it much of anything in life. It's the way to live, man. You can't get mad. It's a waste. What are you mad about? Good morning, good morning. How's everyone doing? Welcome back. Yeah, you're getting a little push on the market this morning for sure off that Meta. I actually got Celsius this morning. Best flavor. We'll zoom in. Come on. There it is. Wild berry. Good stuff. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. I can feel it. How's everyone doing? Want to start the morning by just saying a little word of I don't know exactly what kind of word this is, but it might be hard for me to say this without getting emotional, but a friend of mine I went to high school with just died today of cancer, passed away. So a reminder to live every day, right? I'm getting emotional. Live every day as it's your last. Sad, but I get emotional on the stream with you guys. Don't mean to bring that up. So we'll talk, just a good reminder, right? Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, well. Sad, but important to remember. All right. But anyways, let's get started. So today, NASDAQ, 13,000. We're breaking through 13,000 right now. This is a big break as we speak. 13,000 is breaking in the pre-market. But we do have GDP this morning, so this is going to be important. GDP pre-market going to be definitely influential. We'll see if this move holds up. We'll see if that move continues higher. It's going to be more of a wait and see after GDP. I'd say this morning, GDP and jobless claims. So let's see what happens there. Let's see if 13,000 holds. Let's see if it breaks. Let's see what happens this morning. Also, yesterday, I'll go over to the charts. Yesterday, ES was able to fight back over that 4090. So we fought back over that 4090. We fought back over, we're fighting back over this 13,000 right now. So we are over yesterday's highs, over this pre-market high from Tuesday as well. So interesting, right? Interesting push here this morning, but we'll see if it sticks. Obviously, this is right now due to Meta earnings, right? Right now, this is due to Meta earnings here in the after hours pre-market. So interesting stuff. We got some economic data coming out here in the pre-market. We have some more earnings after hours today with Amazon. So let's see if this move sticks. So today, economic earnings calendar. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Here is the economic. So GDP 830. You guys can see that is going to be coming out this morning. You also have jobless claims coming out this morning, and then you have pending home sales. So let's see what happens here. We'll be on the live stream for this at 8:30. We'll see if there's any continuation or if there's a rejection here off this economic data. Yesterday, obviously, we all know we had Meta earnings. Let me go ahead and pull up the earnings calendar here. All right. So here is your earnings calendar. You can see last night, Meta, this was obviously the big one. We talked about this one on stream, that this one can affect the market. It definitely is affecting the NASDAQ as of right now. So Meta upside with earnings, right, moving the market higher. Roku didn't really do much. Rest in peace, Kathy. American Airlines, Caterpillar, Eli Lilly, Valero, Southwest, MasterCard, some big healthcare names as well this morning. I didn't even really look at these. We can look at them together. I barely even looked at that this morning, but we can sort of go through them. This is the big one after hours today. Amazon. Amazon after hours, you guys can see. Amazon's been a weak name, so I don't know. I think a lot of people are just like, oh, yeah, it'll go up like Microsoft and Meta. I don't know. Amazon's been a pretty weak name. Amazon's had some trouble lately. We'll see if Amazon can push higher as well, but obviously I'm staying away from any and all earnings plays. But Amazon, obviously a big market participant for the NASDAQ, and definitely potential market moving as well. So Intel, Snap, First Solar actually reports today. That's sort of interesting. You guys saw what happened with Enphase. First Solar reporting today after hours. That could be interesting. And then tomorrow, pre-market, you got some energy names, Exxon, Chevron. So today, after hours, the big one is Amazon. All right. Let's quickly go through. I didn't even go through like some of these. CAT, pretty much flat. American Airlines. That's not American Airlines. American Airlines is, it's not Save, right? That's Spirit. What's American Airlines? AAL. American Airlines, not really. Nothing. Eli Lilly is like, what is Eli Lilly? LLY, right? Yeah. Eli Lilly, a little bit higher. Southwest, that's save, right? No, that's not save. That's love. Love, a little bit downside on Southwest. MasterCard, not much really moving here. We'll see what happens intraday. What AbbVie do? AbbVie lower. Might be an opportunity on AbbVie. Merck, higher. So really not. I mean, I don't really think these ones that we just looked at are that market influential here. Caterpillar I think is affecting Home Depot this morning a little bit. So we'll see how that sort of plays out. But big one obviously is Amazon. So here we go. Tesla gap. Obviously, this thing is definitely starting to move towards that gap fill. This is very interesting. Tesla was really weak yesterday. Unfortunately, I did not catch this one. I didn't expect it to just die out of the gates, but it did. It went straight down out of the gates. It could do it again. So we have to watch previous day lows. Pretty much yesterday, if you traded under previous day lows, you caught a nice move. Let's watch previous day lows on Tesla again. NVIDIA 273, looking for a retest today. NVIDIA looks pretty strong. It held up really well yesterday, even though the market was moving lower. When the NASDAQ was breaking new lows afternoon yesterday, NVIDIA was still holding up. So NVIDIA was showing some relative strength yesterday, so I'm definitely going to watch that one today. Netflix 318 demand looks interesting. Meta gap fill. This is looking pretty good. Meta obviously upside on earnings. There's a key level before the gap starts that I want to show you guys. Remember that big gap down in the beginning of 2022? We're getting pretty close to it. Microsoft 234, Apple 164, and then Enphase. Want to see if Enphase has any continuation today as well. All right? So that's what we're going to look at today. Let's start with the futures. Obviously, the futures are most important here. So here we go. NQ. So as of right now, we got 20 minutes. We got 20 minutes until GDP. Yesterday, we talked about this 13K supply, right? We talked about this 13K supply yesterday on the live stream. We said how we have some previous consolidation and rejections here. We have some rejections in the pre-market yesterday. And you can see yesterday, we held demand in the morning, pushed into supply, and really the better trade yesterday was the supply rejection off 13K. So really yesterday was just a demand to supply, back to demand. And we're holding it again because of Meta earnings. Now this morning, we are moving back into that 13K supply. But this morning, we're starting to break it, right? We're starting to break. Now I'll change this for now. I can't say that this is going to stay relevant until open today because we do have GDP numbers coming out. But right now, technically, you could change this to green, right? As of right now, as of this very instant, you can change this previous rejection point, this rejection point here, and this early morning rejection point. These are all now broken, right? You have broken above those rejection points. So technically, right, this could now turn into a new support today. So if you do get a pullback today and you start to hold in this zone, right, this could be a higher low for more upside. It's very possible, but we'll have to see how GDP plays out. But if we go to the hourly chart here, actually, you know what, let's go 30-minute. You can see this 13K level, which was previous demand here, right? You can see demand, rejection, right? Rejection, right? If that turns into a new support area, right, down here at 13,000, 13,015 area, if we turn this back into a hold, then I think the NASDAQ could continue higher here, right? If we can hold above this now, you would probably see something like this, right? You're looking back at what happened here. So you would try to replicate, the market will try to replicate what it did here and what it did here if it can hold above that demand at 13,000, which would be a move into like the 13,100 supply. So we'll see. That's what I'll look for today. If we can hold above this 13K, if this turns into a new area of demand, right, I will look for that push into this triple top around 13,100, right up here. That's a potential move today. Now, if GDP sends us lower, if the market reverses and we fall back under 13,000, right, then we're just going to start to reject here and possibly try these lows again. So for me today, especially on the NASDAQ, it is all about what happens in this zone right here between 13,000 and 13,000. Let's just call it 13,015. All in here is very important. We have to be paying attention to what goes on within this zone today. All right, this is very crucial. So right now it's above. Can't say it's going to stay there because we have some economic data this morning in about 18 minutes. So we'll see what happens. But that is definitely your first thing to watch this morning. All right, above or below 13K. That's how I would look at this day. I would go if-then statements, right? If above 13K, be careful on the shorts. If below 13K, then you might be able to set up that short side play again. All right, so I would use 13K as your guide as of right now. The Qs, QQQ is back above. It's back above that 313, right? That was a pretty important demand level that held again yesterday. You can see 313. We did sort of bounce. It's sort of down to that 312, so maybe you keep it about a dollar point range between 312, 313, but you are holding back above 313. All right. If we go to the 30-minute chart, this is such a disgusting chart, to be honest. All right, look at this thing. I mean, there's nothing great about looking at this chart. Supply is very clearly above around 317, right? That's sort of our 13.1 level up here. So if we turn that red, that's clearly our rejection point up there. It's around 13.1 on the NASDAQ futures. It's around 317 on the Qs. Right now, you're sort of just holding. These are your previous lows that we were just talking about. It's around that 315, right? So I'm just sort of lining this up to the NASDAQ, right? So if we go to the NASDAQ, our 13,000 level that we just talked about on the NQ is equal to our 315 level here, right? This is our 315 level on the Qs. That equals our 13,000 on the NASDAQ futures. Our upside supply on the NASDAQ, which is around 13.1, is equal to our 317 level on the Qs. All right, so that's sort of how I would outline your day. 315, 317, which is equal to 13,000 and 13,001. All right. ES. So the ES clearly is not as strong, right? Yesterday, if you guys noticed, the NASDAQ was up about 1.5 points at one point, and the ES was still red. So the S&P is not getting the love, obviously, because it's tech, right? Tech is the main thing moving this market right now, and S&P is not heavy tech, right? The NASDAQ is majority tech. So NASDAQ is outperforming as of now. The ES was able to reclaim over 4090 demand. I would watch out for 4115 still, right? 4115 is very much still there. Could very much still be a rejection point. If you were up into this 4115, be careful of that supply rejection again. You can clearly see that's what happened yesterday. The real upside move will happen if 4115 turns into support, right? If 4115 right here turns into support, that'll be your move into the previous lows around 4135. All right? So 4115 and 4090, that's what I'd be watching on the ES. Just understand there is a possibility, right? If you take SPY calls today because you think tech is strong, there is a possibility, what you've seen over the last few days, where your SPY calls will not increase because it's really majority NASDAQ. So just understand that. You've seen that the last few days, where you've seen the NASDAQ ripping higher, but the SPY not following. It's because tech is the main thing moving right here. Obviously, Microsoft earnings. Now you have Meta earnings. So some part of it's, right, part of those names are in SPY, but heavily more on the NASDAQ side. So watch this 4115 on the SPY, right? That's important. That's going to be your main supply rejection possibility today. On the SPY, it is here at 408 still, right? 408. And if you get above 408, if you turn this 408 into support, then you're looking for 410, right? That would be your break and retest of the previous highs here for a move into 410. That's your major upside move, right? Nothing is really legitimate here on the SPY until you're back over 410, in my opinion, right? This is, you're crawling back a little bit, but nothing's that legit here until you reclaim 410 at the very least. So just understand that. Yes, we are, crawling off demand a little bit, but if we zoom out on this picture, right, you need to be back above this 4135 for any chance of, upside continuation. You need to get back above these major lows. Without that, this could simply just be a retest, right, for a major rejection. That is very possible. So don't overstay your welcome on the upside. It doesn't look that strong on the SPY and the ES. Sure, you're crawling back a little bit, but be careful of 408, and then really be cautious of 410, right? 410 is really that main possible rejection point. Previous lows here, very possibly a rejection again if we get an upside push on the SPY. All right. So 410, 408, demand 406, ES 4090, 4115, and 4135. Okay. I would not be surprised to see the SPY retest 4135, right? It makes sense. We talk about this to both directions, upside or downside, right? If this was inverse and people see the upside, I think we would all say, hey, we probably need to pull back, right, to this retest level and try to, continue off that. Or, hey, we maybe need to pull back to this previous low, right, and then try to continue higher, right? So if we, and continuing higher in this sense would be downside, right? Make sure you understand that. This is inverse. So even if we get a pullback to 4115 or 4135 on the inverse, that would still mean, because that's the inverse chart, that would still mean that rejections could come in. All right? I think we would all agree that if we look at this inverse ES, a pullback is healthy, which would be technically upside on the real market, not the inverse, and then we would look for that bounce play, which would actually, which would actually be downside. All right? So I know it's a little confusing because it's the inverse chart, but just think about that. So ES 4115, 4135. All right? That's what I'd watch. All right. Let's continue. Dow Jones. Dow Jones trying to hold on to this 33.5. Let's zoom out here. Yeah, it's really trying to hold on to this low here, this 33,500. If we do get a bounce today off this 33.5, I would say, again, same concept as the ES. I could totally see, right, a retest of this 33.8 level. It would make sense. We never retested it. We sort of just flushed below it. So it would make sense to see a retest of that breakdown point, which would be around 33,800 on the Dow. If we get upside on the market today, right, I would say look for that 33,800. That could be your rejection point to watch out for. That's these previous lows. Finally, the Russell, pretty dead, right? You can see the Russell is back at the channel low. So now, technically, right, if you are looking for downside on the Russell, your risk reward is inversed now, right? It is inversed. So you guys can see you are now at these lows and you're trying to hold the lows around 1730. So if you played the downside off supply, right, you have to accept, hey, I just caught a beautiful downside supply rejection and it's my time to take profits, right? This is the play you were looking for. You are not hoping and praying that we break this triple bottom. So that's a nice, beautiful downside play if you caught that on the IWM or the Russell. But now you have to understand demand is here, right, around 1730, and it's potential that the Russell tries to have a little bounce off this level. So watch 1730 on the Russell. All right. So that's the futures. We'll go ahead and look at it again after we look at some names here. We also have economic data, GDP, in 10 minutes. So let's just go over Tesla real quick. So Tesla's been doing this stair-stepping. It's been doing this morning destruction stair-step downward move. So we'll see if it does it again. But you can see this is on Monday of this week, right? Straight down through lows into the next stair-step low right here. This is around 159. On Tuesday, we did hold 159, and we pushed back into the 163 rejection. Now, yesterday, we just dive-bombed under 159, which was the previous double bottom low. So today, what am I looking for, right? What are the ideas today? The ideas are, first, I would say I'm going to keep this on my charts, and I'm going to keep around this, I think it's more around this 156.50. But first, I'm going to look to see, do we hold yesterday's lows, this double bottom, or are we breaking below it, right? And if we break below yesterday's lows, I will look for that same downside play that's come in the last few days. So first, watch previous day lows on Tesla. That is the most important thing to watch. It's this 152.90. It's pre-market lows, or really after hours lows. Watch to see if we get that downside under 152.90, right? Break and retest under that level. To the upside, right, if we zoom in on this, to the upside, I would say we need to watch the 155 area for the pre-market high rejection, right? I think we keep that on our charts. That's very clear for now. So let's put that there. And then I think we also watch this little top. I know we got above it momentarily here, but really it looks like that main level is around this 156.50. So I would also watch this 156.50 zone right here, right? So 156.50, 155, right? Dude, the GDP did not come out yet, okay? It's not out yet. 8:30, okay? You don't need to keep asking. GDP 8:30, not out. 155, right? You guys can see that. And then 156.50 on Tesla. If you get a break below yesterday's lows and you start to reject it, that could be the move that brings us into this gap fill, right? You guys know we talked about this, right? You know we talked about this, and it's unfortunately I missed some of it. I don't know why I wasn't really watching it as much as I should have. We called this one out, but just sort of didn't catch this one. But there's still some possible downside here. The support doesn't come in until 145. So I will sort of be watching this one today to see if I can catch that secondary move towards 145. Yeah, so you are in this low volume area here on Tesla, right? And if this thing wants to continue, if we start seeing breaks of lows here, I'm definitely going to look to target that 145 level. That's all the way down here. So let's see if we break today's lows. Let's see if we break this low today and see if we can get that continuation move. I would rather take it off supply rejections, right? I would rather take it off supply rejections. But we'll see if we have to take it under that 153 low. All right. NVIDIA. So interested here on NVIDIA. NVIDIA was very strong yesterday, and NVIDIA is breaking above a pretty important little high here, right? So you can see, I'm actually going to delete that. You can see this high here, this high here, this high here. This is around 272. 272 has been a pretty tough level for NVIDIA to get above. But this morning, you can see we're breaking, and we're attempting to hold above. You can see, and we have this previous 273 level, which was also important. I had that on my charts there for a second. I'll go ahead and put it back on. This 273 low, if I zoom in, which was also yesterday's highs, look at what it's doing right now in the pre-market. So you have yesterday's highs at 273, and you have a break and hold above, right? Break and hold above 273. If that holds today, I am definitely interested on this because if I look above 273, all right, if we can maintain that 273, I'm not seeing much here that can slow down NVIDIA if we actually get a strong move today, right? And if the market's strong today, I am interested in this NVIDIA strength. NVIDIA outperformed yesterday, right? It's breaking above this 273. If it holds above this 273, this could be a nice little break and retest for some upside. Can this really move up to 280 today? I'm not sure. That's probably a big move. That's about, NVIDIA up 2%. It's possible intraday. You know, that would definitely require a big NASDAQ move. But really my main watch is, does NVIDIA hold above 273 here? And if it does, right, is this a break and retest for more upside? Definitely a watch today. We'll see if this gets affected by GDP as well. All right. So watching that. Netflix. Whoops, I typed it in the Discord. Netflix. This one's sort of interesting to me today as well. Netflix is on that sort of, I don't know what to call it technically, but it's sort of that period where people forget about post-earnings plays. It's sort of being like pushed away right now, that, you know, maybe it's just sort of sideways, not being paid attention to. And these are the times where I like to really pay attention to stocks, because when you start to get people losing interest in these moves, right? I know a lot of people were watching Netflix, say 2 days after earnings, right? So sort of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but this week, We got that downside. Yesterday we did nothing, but we continue to hold this 318 low. So I'm interested in this. Does Netflix maintain this 318 low? My risk reward here can make sense, right? If I look for a bigger upside move here, let's say I look for a move back into like the 346, my upside can make, or my risk reward can make sense here on Netflix. Obviously, I'm going to need a strong market move. But if I start to get, accumulate some long positions here around the 318, and we start to sort of wake up here on Netflix and on the market, and this thing starts to push maybe like a post-earnings type move, could be interesting. So I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch to see what happens at 318. I'm going to see if this demand continues to hold here at this little low here. And obviously, I'm still cautious of this 331 supply. But if we can get above that, there could be a little squeeze that happens here. I am going to watch it. Not saying that it's ready for it. Obviously, the market's going to need to see some big upside for this to work. But I do sort of like how this is continuing to hold this 318 low. So yeah, and the people in the Discord know this. Whenever I trade Netflix, no one follows me on it because I think I have a 0 for 10 track record on Netflix. So I'll continue to look for trades on it. It's okay if I continue to lose on it. But I am interested to see if 318 holds on Netflix. That is definitely something I'll be watching. All right, let's go Meta. Actually, you know what? Before we get into Meta, let's just wait for GDP to come out. Yeah, let's just take a look at the futures real quick. We'll wait for GDP to come out here and jobless claims in about a minute. And then we'll get over some more names. Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Enphase. We'll look at, Google. We'll look at all the tech names. But let's first wait for this GDP to drop. So I'm actually going to put this on the NQ. NQ is still finding some upside here. You can see this is our 13K. This is our 13.1 supply. Let's see if there is any type of movement here. Let's see if there's any type of movement here on earnings, or not earnings, on GDP jobless claims. All right. So we got 30 seconds. Take a sip of your coffee. Celsius or coffee. Hit the like button. Yeah, this would be a great time to press the like button. Not a bad time. Think about it. Consider it. All right, 2 seconds, 1 second. And not much yet. Up and down, a little bit down, a little bit up. All right, up. Not much, honestly. I thought I'd see maybe a little bit bigger reaction, but it's still early. Let's see. Okay. Back down. Back up. Yeah, not too much. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's get the numbers here. All right. So GDP 4% versus 3.7 expectation. 3.9 was prior. So it's a little bit higher. It's 0.1 higher than prior. It is higher than expectations. GDP higher than expectations. Consumer spending 3.7 versus 1%. Wow, big increase in consumer spending. America. Core PCE prices 4.9 versus 4.7. So, yeah, well, obviously a big reaction on the 1 minute, but what are you going to get sucked into the 1 minute? Or we don't look at the 1 minute on these moves. This is like, oh my God, it's tanking. Oh my God, it's going back up. Here we go. There it is. I mean, yeah, not much. A little bit of downside there. NASDAQ back at that 13K. Nothing major. as of right now. We'll see if there's any continuation intraday, but I'm not going to sit here and watch this the whole day. Jobless claims lower than expectations. That could be a little bit bearish. The quarter-over-quarter GDP is lower, 1.1 versus 2%. Quarter-over-quarter GDP, 1.1 versus 2%. All right. You know what we say, right? You know what we say. We just do what the market shows us. Right now, the market is showing us that really not much continuation in a single direction as of right now. All right, that's what the market's showing us. All right, Meta. So this is interesting. This is going to be a little bit hard to sort of analyze, but I'm going to try to do my best here to show you guys, what I'm sort of watching here. So first thing I'm watching, the big level is Tesla under 153? Yeah, it's sort of bouncing right off of it. All right, let's continue. All right, so daily chart Meta. The first thing I'm watching is this 248. Now, I know we're not there yet, but there is a very, very major gap above on Meta. Does it get through it? I don't know, right? That's not sort of what I'm eyeing for here because that's a very big move. But I am paying attention to it, and I think you should all pay attention to it as well. The high of this candle right here is 248 even, exactly 248. So I'm going to make sure that I have a line at 248, right? 248 even is the high of this candle, which is the day after the gap down on earnings back in January of 2023. 2023? No, 2022. Sorry. No. 2022. Yes. January 2022. You guys remember that big drop that pretty much caused a lot of the downside on the market. That gap fill starts at 248. Now, before 248, you have 235 right here. If I zoom in over here, 235 rejection here and a 235 rejection here. All right? So if we go into the 5-minute, we can see as of right now, where did Meta stop after earnings? I'm going to put it up to 236 because maybe it's a little bit higher than the 235. So 235, 236, that level we just pointed out on the daily chart, that is exactly where Meta stopped after earnings, right? It pushed right into that level and it stopped. Now, it is very clear that we need to get over 236 for any type of upside continuation. So today, I would look to see what happens at 236. If 236 breaks, and there is still strength on this market, I don't think it's that out of this world to think that Meta tries to move into this level here around 248. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen in one day, but I think it is possible that if Meta breaks this 236 high right here, right, there's not much resistance until that gap fill, right, until that beginning of that gap around 248. So we'll see. All right, I'm going to watch 236. I'm going to see if that breaks. If we start to turn 236 into support, I don't believe there's much resistance until the 248. And that would be, this level here is the beginning of that gap. So that's interesting. Now, if Meta does pull back, right, if the market drops, I would watch maybe this 231 area. It looks like that for now is where this is holding up. If you do drop that 231, then this 236 rejection may be legit, and maybe you have a little bit of a gap fill to the downside. So basically, I'm going to make this smaller, 235.50. I'm going to watch 236, and I'm going to watch 231, right? That's what I'm going to watch on Meta, and I'm going to see which side does Meta want to break out after earnings today. Does it want to push over 236? Does it want to break under this pre-market low around 231? That's what I'm going to be watching on Meta this morning. That's sort of how I'm going to look to play it. All right. If we get a break and hold above 236, I'm looking for upside. If we get a break and hold below 231, I'll be looking for downside gap fill. All right. That's what I'm looking at on Meta. All right, let's continue. Microsoft 234. Now, I played this yesterday and actually caught a nice continuation move. This is 234 on Microsoft. I tried to take it early morning, got a little bit faked out here, and then I took it again, and I caught this very nice continuation up towards 298. So 294 held very nicely yesterday. We talked about this. We talked about this demand that could step up yesterday in the pre-market. 294 is that previous high, right? It's right here. 294 is this previous high right here. All right? So if 294 holds again today, right, I will look to see if 294 holds again today. I will look to see if there's any continuation. If we break under 294, I think you can probably move down into the 292s. 292 would be the previous highs right here, right? This is 292, 292, 292, and 292, right? If we break under 294, I would say we can look for that 292 right here, and right here. So I'll be watching 294 to 292, and if we break back under 292, then I think you might have that downside play, right? If we do get weak here and we get back under these rejection points, I think you could see that downside come in. So right here, 292 is really that level that I'm interested in. If we get back below this high here, could be downside. If we continue to maintain it, right, we could maintain this demand here, 292 to 294. So that's what I'm watching. Obviously, Microsoft was pretty weak yesterday, so be careful looking for too much upside. It was definitely sort of weighed down here, right? You can see like these upside pushes were getting sold into. So just be careful of, overstaying your welcome on any kind of push off this level if you do get it. All right. Microsoft, that's that. Apple, 164. Yeah, Apple continues to hold 164, but I just wanted to bring this up because I sort of wanted to bring it up as an example of what terrible price action looks like. And this is Apple, right, over the last 4 days. Sure, it's been holding this 164, but you have to sort of take context clues here, right? My context clues here is that Apple just simply does not want to move. I mean, Apple has been in a 2-point range for almost 2 weeks now. So do I really have much interest in trading Apple? Do I sort of look away from it intraday? Yes. That's just sort of what I look for. I look at the last few weeks. I say, what has Apple done the last few weeks? And I can clearly see that this is just sort of terrible price action, really big wicks on either side. Even yesterday, you had a nice upside move that gave back the entire thing. So be careful on this one. It is holding that 164 level. It's holding it pretty nicely, but this thing just looks sort of dead, right? It looks like it doesn't want to move. I would say it's around 164 to 165s is really what it's trading in. Maybe you can get something if it gets over this 165, but right now it looks really stuck in this channel, 164, 165. All right. Who just called me? They left a voicemail as well, at least. I don't even know who that was. All right. So let's continue. Let's take a look at Tesla because everyone's freaking out about it. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, Tesla's under. Tesla's under. Larry. No, it wasn't Larry. Yeah, so here we go, right? Look at this. 150, 290. If Tesla gives us a little retest rejection today, this could be nice, right? This could be nice. Let's see if Tesla can stay under this low right here. If Tesla can stay under this low, right, this could be a nice little retest rejection. So I'm definitely going to watch that one today. Let's see if Tesla stays under pre-market lows. Let's actually just put this, you know what we should do? We should put a line. What's the low of this? What are these lows? Let's get these lows here. 153.21. 153.14, 153.20. Yeah, 153.21. 153. 21. And then let's put a line there. Because really, that's where Tesla needs to stay below. 153.21 to 152.91. It's right in this zone, right? It's got to stay under this low, these lows, and even potentially this pre-market low. So it really needs to stay under this whole zone. If Tesla can remain under these lows, then it should remain weak, right? It should remain weak. So let's look to see if that happens. Let's see if we get a little retest rejection of this 153 zone today on Tesla. Could be nice. All right. End phase. So looking for a continuation on end phase today. If we go to the 4-hour, or no, let's go to the daily chart and let's get some more time here. If we get some more time on end phase. End phase has been in this little, I guess you could call this an uptrend right here. I'm going to delete this. You can see it's sort of been in this uptrend, a long-term, very long-term uptrend. It held here, pulled back, held here, and pulled back here, held here, and now you're pulling back. So does end phase need to pull back to this? This would be around 145, 144. That's possible before maybe it holds. If I zoom in, this is really how I look to play end phase today. All right, same exact thing as Tesla. We watched the previous day lows. So previous day lows is 163 here. So we got 163 mapped out. All right, we need to watch 163. And then the lows late day are 160, 60. 160, 61. So really, right, I don't want to short in this zone here, right? I don't really want to short in that zone there because it could hold anywhere in here, right? It could hold these lows. It could hold anywhere in this demand here. So I really don't want to short if we are above 160, 61 or 163. What I want to look for is that break and hold below. If I can get that, then I think you can get that downside continuation. What I will also look for, which I would rather look for, is a little bit of a pop, right? Maybe back into these highs here, maybe even back into these highs here, right? I would rather look to short into an upside pop if I think this stays weak. So I would look for maybe pops into this 167, 168, or up into this 174, all right? That's what I would look for. But honestly, end phase looked really dead yesterday, and if this thing wants to continue, sort of like Tesla, I will watch this under previous day lows. Oh my God, Tesla's going. And Meta's going up. Oh man. This is going to be an interesting day, man. Tesla is doing the exact, what's the NASDAQ doing? Okay, NASDAQ's pulling back. Meta's going higher. Interesting. So, yeah, Meta over this previous high. That could be interesting. Watch that. Tesla very clearly looks like it could get some juice today. Hopefully it waits for us. You really need a bounce now, right? You clearly need a bounce now. You can't just open. I mean, maybe, right? Maybe you can just open and play puts, but you really need a bounce back into these lows, in my opinion, before you can get aggressive. But hey, who knows? Tesla's very, very weak. I mean, it's looking like it's just getting sold into. So I would at least want to get a bounce back into the previous lows before getting short. That would be ideal. All right. Well, we'll take a look at Amazon. Amazon could be a nice little supply rejection today, but you have really high IV, I'm sure, on the earnings today. You have earnings after hours, but this could be a nice little supply rejection to watch today. You guys can see Amazon is pushing straight into this 108. Look at these rejections, right? Look at these 108 rejections on Amazon. And look at what it's doing right now. So keep an eye on Amazon. Yes, there's IV is going to be very high. So this would be like my last thing to watch because I really don't want to trade in that environment, that high IV environment. This could be a nice rejection play, right? Or, if it does break and hold above, there could be some continuation as well. But either way, this is at a very key level today. Look at this top here on Amazon at 108. Definitely something to watch here today. All right, so that's what I got for you guys today. Let's go over the futures one more time before we head out. So you got NASDAQ sort of trying to maintain this 13K area. That's going to be big. ES, yeah, look at that ES 4090 hold. That's interesting. Watch that 40.90. If you go to the SPY, I'm sure that's right off 406. Let's see. Yes, it is. It's exactly off 406, right? So 406 is still there. If you short into 406 today, you are asking to get bounced into, right? I would be careful. Yes, the market has been weak. Yes, this could break down, but you can clearly see that 406 is being respected, and you can clearly see this 40.90 is being respected. So be careful at this level. On the NASDAQ, it's right around that 13K. And on the Qs, it's right at this 315. All right. This is when Tesla is hard to trade, right? And I'm gonna leave the chat with this. This is when Tesla's hard to trade because you see the market moving higher, but Tesla has no reaction to it. That for me is very difficult because the way I trade, I use the NASDAQ, I use the ES as confirmation, right? If I see the ES and NASDAQ holding, let's say 40.90, let's say 13,000, and I see it pushing higher, I will take a tech play like Nvidia, AMD, Netflix, and I'll look for that to move with the market. Now, in this case, Tesla is doing the exact opposite of the market, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. You almost have to watch Tesla by itself if you're going to trade Tesla, because the NASDAQ and the ES might give you some mixed signals that could mess you up. Wow, yeah, Meta's sort of squeezing over this 236. There's not much resistance above this 236, so that's why you're starting to get a little spicy here. You'd really want to pull back to that 236 level on Meta. All right, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. If you could, we only need like 300 more likes for 1,000 likes. So if you guys could hit that like button, we got about 1,800 people here. That would be very much appreciated. If you guys are new here, I do this every single morning starting at 8 a.m. We're here talking about the futures, talking about charts, talking about potential setups, messing around a little bit, talking crap to people in the chat sometimes that are saying stupid stuff. But, you know, we keep it real. We keep it honest. We don't talk about penny stocks. If you ask me about BBBY, you're instantly banned from the chat. Just kidding, but please don't do that. Yeah, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Gonna go hang out with the chat now, do some trading. It's Thursday. As you guys know, I've been on a little bit of a rough week. I wouldn't say rough, like as in money losing, but I would say just haven't had the really strong precision that I'm used to having. So it's been a little bit of a dirty week, as Gold would call it, right? Sometimes those wins are dirty. Monday and Tuesday were pretty dirty. Yesterday was a little bit cleaner for me. And today, hopefully to, clean up the mess and get back on the groove of things, get back in the groove. So we'll see what happens. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.